for the launch of his monograph on Africa, the Harmony Factor. I say monograph because it is really a very comprehensive analysis, assessment of India's relations with Africa in the last 2 decades.
2002, we were responding in many ways to Africa and coming up with common solutions. So in 2002, we first launched the Focus Africa program. And I, as a Joint Secretary, faced a huge protest from the African heads of mission because the program only undertook to cover 8 countries, but everybody wanted to be covered. So we had to change that Focus Africa program and say, okay, we embrace everybody.
Africa relationship in the depth and the width that you have covered. It's amazing in a way. When I was doing the review, I myself learned a lot. So much I came to know about our relationship. But I think few things we need to understand how the book has been attempted. One is that the author has put the relationship in context, but he's also been very frank and honest. That's what I felt, when you're analyzing the relationship. It's not everything good. Sometimes when you have to say that there is a problem, he didn't hesitate to say that there is a problem. I think that's how we approach the book. And second thing I noticed was exhaustive research. I think you have met so many people, so much reading. It's amazing the depth we went into the book. I think that again strikes use of graphs, data. It is just not the feeling. I think he went deep into the subject and he used the data, graphs, analysis, and then he was able to make his case very strongly.
So about 77% saw the difference, but 23%, which is still large, did not think it varied from other partners. So there is almost a quarter which does not see the difference between India and other partners, though we like to think that we are very different. It is clear that India's policy is appreciated, but when compared in detail, it is not seen as being very different, but yet it is viewed as being effective. So I think that is the message that I got.
I was happy to know that India is the second, or can be the second provider in the world of cereals. But then last month I have learned that India is stopping export of its cereals. For Djibouti and East Africa and Africa in general, India was the saver in terms of cereal providings, because the world now is increasing this shortage of cereals. And you know that Africa, even though Africa has the most arable lands where we can cultivate, we are facing a lack of agriculture. So we hope that in the future India will open the export of this cereal, because with the last now Ukrainian conflict, who is adding itself to other endeavors, challenges, we hope that we will find it from India. Thank you very much.
When we come specifically to African countries, for instance, Africa is a continent with half of the world's uncultivated arable land is found. It is also a continent where agriculture has the greatest promise with a vibrant market. However, whenever we see the average Africans, their performance in the farm activity is only 40%. And for this, we can create or we can give several kinds of reasons. Conflict is there, climate variability is there, extreme and economic slowdowns, downtowns are like the key diverse reasons for food insecurity in Africa. And currently also the ongoing COVID pandemic and the crisis in Ukraine is also creating a big problem in food supply in Africa. So, considering the complementarity of priorities by different countries, especially for African countries and for India, despite the different kind of odds that are happening in the world, we can see a lot of cooperation. For instance, we Africans see Indians' approach to Africa as very smooth and something that we can work and we can go a lot in the future.
Because Morocco being one of the largest contributors of food security, I will touch upon a little bit of health sector, but I will speak a little bit more about health sector. And you know that Morocco is establishing a $3.7 billion unit for fertilizers. So I hope that will just show the solidarity between the intra-African cooperation as well. The subject we are discussing today is of a burning topicality, to say the least. The world in which we live today has, in the space of less than 2 years, experienced upheavals both in terms of health and food security. As you all know, the COVID-19 pandemic completely transformed our lives and then those we loved. It's caused millions of deaths across the planet. No medical system around the world was prepared for such a shock wave and its consequences. In this regard, it is my privilege to commend and then to thank India for its efforts to make the entire international community receive the vaccines, especially the African countries in particular, by providing a good number of vaccines and urgent medical equipment to fight against the pandemic. Excellencies and dear friends, the question which should be of our concern today is, have we learned lessons from these unprecedented experiences? Because we always talk. We tend always, and I have already mentioned earlier, we tend always to depict Africa as the most vulnerable continent, depending on other countries for most of their needs. Why? It can be a big part of the solution of food security, the problem worldwide.
As we celebrate Africa Day today, it is a great honor for me to participate in this discussion on food and health security in Africa, an agenda for India-Africa cooperation. I would like to thank ICWA for organizing this event, which I believe will bring some valuable insights to advance Africa and India cooperation on food and health security. I'm confident that given the two parties' goodwill, that this cooperation will lead to tangible outcomes for the populations. I would also like to congratulate Ambassador Gurjit Singh for this valuable book, which will contribute to advancing India-Africa partnership. Excellencies, for Madagascar, food security has been made first of all priorities in order to tackle nutrition, but also to achieve economic growth. Not so far than this month, the President of Madagascar himself called for the acceleration of food security and food self-sufficiency in Madagascar.
Be creative and innovative, and knowledge we can impact in terms of building solid human resource activities and having the capacity to influence our own lives in this area. And the final point I would want to stress and mention here is strategic partnership with countries like India. In fact, that is why I see the piece of Ambassador Singh as a very good one, an excellent piece that will help us. What can we do? We've heard the excellencies give all the wonderful points about our relation, and I want to align myself to all that have been said in terms of solid partnership and relationship. This is what we need in our time. When India was not are able to provide vaccines to other countries. People talked about it, but other countries also were able to receive. Ghana was the first country in Africa to receive vaccines from India. And I want to say that in terms of partnership, two things we can look out for. One, building a framework in terms of legal framework agreements that will help in terms of our engagement in food, agriculture, and health. Two, implementing these agreements with the understanding that our friendship and our bond is for a collective good and is for mutual benefit of all people. These 4 points, I think, when we put them together and we work together in concert with all efforts on board, we will be able to move from insecurity to security in terms of food and health. Thank you.